Hi, it's the 2nd of March at 1:35 a.m. Um, Everybody else is pretty much asleep, which means that now I'm going to do a vlog. This one will not be as long as the other ones because I do tend to go on, and I apologize for that because I know the internet ain't got time for that. Anyway, here's one of my pipes. This is not what the vlog is about, but let's just say. Here's one of the pipes that I talked about that I didn't have to show. It's just a basic pipe. It's not anything special, but this is one that I have. Oh, wrong hand. That's awful. Anyway, you can see it's just a regular pipe. So no big deal, but this is one of the other ones that I wasn't able to show you last time because I didn't have it in my possession. I still need to find the Hugh Hefner pipe that I have. But at any rate, so there you go. That's like another one. Not as fancy as my, or awesome as my church warden. Somebody asked me if I had tried McQueen pipes, and I have not. I am an absolute beginner, so I'm not going to pretend to know more than I do, which is not very much as far as pipes and tobacco and that sort of thing and other stuff that you smoke in your pipes. So feel free to comment. Hopefully you'll give me a like, and more than that, I hope you'll subscribe. I think I got my first dislike this past week or the week before, maybe, and that's fine. There's plenty of other channels on YouTube, and really this is like something that I wanted to do just to do. So I'm not really doing it to have a popularity contest because I can't compete with other people on YouTube. I'm just gonna do my thing, and if you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. I would like if you would come back. Oh, these are my bluebirds of happiness here. The good part is they won't crap on my head. So no matter how long I would go, and I'm not going to go too long, they're still not going to crap on my head, as opposed to real bluebirds of happiness, which would probably take a crap on me. So I have bird doo-doo on my face by now. And there's some haters who would like that, but honey, I'm sorry, you ain't going to see it. Anyway, yeah, so there's the pipe, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. Oh, have you noticed my horns too? These aren't really my horns. They're actually my husband's horns, and he got them. We got them at the Renaissance Festival here in Colorado in Larkspur, which happens every year in the summer. And I'd love to go every year, but it doesn't work out every year. Hopefully this year it will work out. But at any rate, the horns, I thought this was pretty cool. It also reminds me of something I watched this past week, which was the movie Horns, which was, of course, based off of the novel by Joe Hill, who is in fact the son of Stephen King. And Joe Hill is a terrific writer in his own right. Definitely, if you have not read any of his stuff, I would definitely give it a try. And then Owen King, another son of Stephen King, he's got two sons, also writes novels. Now, I have not read any of his, but I plan to because Stephen King is one of my favorite authors. So anyway, I watched the movie Horns, and I did like Daniel Radcliffe in the movie. I actually like him in everything that I've seen, especially Woman in Black. That was a good movie, and I'm a big fan of the classic Hammer films. So at any rate, so yeah, I mean, it was a decent movie. The only thing that I had a problem with is at the end, and I won't tell you what happens at the end, but the end just kind of, it wasn't bad, but no, it didn't really, I don't know, it may have gone farther afield into fantasy than what I was expecting in the story, but anyway, you can watch it and leave a comment and tell me what you think. But really, definitely read Heart-Shaped Box is another one of Joe Hill's novels, and I think you should definitely try his stuff. But that's not why I was doing this blog either. So let me do this pretty quickly and just say I have a companion blog on this that I wrote a few days ago. And I will put the link up to my blog. Okay, this is the blog. I'll put the link up to my blog so that you can go and read it. But essentially, I'm going to say the same thing here. When I did my DNA testing through 23andMe, which I was very excited to do because I was adopted, and so there were a lot of like spaces in there. I mean, I know I have like 9 generations on my birth mother's side, from the family historian / genealogist. So I knew that, I knew that much, but relatively not anything except for my birth father's name. His name was Richard Ferris. And so I really don't know a lot of that side of the family, except for what I've heard from my birth mother, and now from what I've gotten from my DNA testing, which I did in September 2013. Anyway, I learned that I am 99.1% Northern European. I have UK, Scottish, Welsh, Irish, and much to my surprise, I have Scandinavian and Norwegian, and then on the lesser side, I have a tiny bit of Russian, and Italian. That's what it was, like 0.3%, so not a lot. That's probably the part I like. Pizza and stuff. I love Italian food. That was kind of a surprise. I'm supposedly related to Mario Batali on my mom's side. Anyway, here's the thing. So it turns out, like, I've done a lot of looking into the Scottish ancestry, a whole lot. I went to Scotland and loved it. I went to Glencoe, and I felt like I'd been there before. Never had that happen before in my life. Clan MacNeil is the clan that's on my maternal side. And Clan MacNeil, interesting thing is, in my DNA, it's like, okay, where'd this Norwegian and Scandinavian come from? And there was a tiny bit of Swiss as well. I mean, what they do is they break down the population, so, they'll tell you, okay, you're a certain percentage from like Northern Europe, certain percentage from Southern Europe, certain percentage Asian, from Asia or wherever. So I found out like I'm 99.1% Northern European, and you can't really get much more than that, honestly. So I decided, okay, well, I don't know anything about, never mind, back up. Clan MacNeil always claimed to have ancestry or descendants. They claim to be descendants from Niall of the 9 Hostages, which was a high Irish king. Well, this year, there was a DNA test for Clan MacNeil, those in Clan MacNeil, over on the Isle of Barra, And it turns out that it was not, they have no DNA link to Nile of the Nine Hostages. Instead, they have Viking DNA, which makes perfect sense because, I mean, if you look at it, it makes perfect sense. They were basically the last of the Vikings. They were they were pirates essentially. I mean, if you sailed by um, the Isle of Barra, you know, forget it. They're going to attack your ships, and they're probably going to kill all of you, and they're going to take your treasure, whatever you have, whatever goods you have on that ship. So they didn't mess around, and it turned out that they did not have any DNA link to Nile of the Nine Hostages, but they did have Viking DNA, which makes perfect sense because in my DNA, I was like, where's this Scandinavian and Norwegian? Because I had strands of DNA that were identical to people in Norway. So anyway, I thought that was really cool because I don't really know a lot about Norway. I had a roommate who was from Sweden, and I thought that was cool. So I decided to look more into the Vikings and Norway and just, you know, general stuff. And it turns out that Viking females were pretty badass, and so were the males. And they were not these dirty savages that you would think they were. In fact, they kept themselves clean. They had a lot of ornamentation. They were definitely pretty badass, and of course they were pagans. They were heathens. I myself am a pagan and have been since I was 18. So it kind of like made sense, and also my husband looks like a Viking. I don't know if he has any DNA in there from Scandinavia. We're going to do his DNA testing, but we haven't done it yet. Excuse me. But the point is, I didn't know anything about Vikings or Scandinavia or much about Norse mythology or heathenism, Norse paganism, none of that stuff. And so I had already explored a whole bunch about my Scottish ancestry and Scotland. So now I'm delving into that part of it. I mean, it only makes sense. And here's the point of this blog. There appears to be a contingent of people who are, in fact, not representative of people as a whole who have Nordic ancestry. However, there's a contingent of people who are racists, and you know, they'll go on and on about, you know, well, you know, it must be white skin and all this other bullshit. Sorry, BS. Now, I'm just going to say, you know, this, you can go look on my blog and see the whole conversation. But here's the thing. I am not tolerant of racism at all. And what makes me even angrier, perhaps, or annoyed, yeah, angry would be better, is, you know, I've worked very hard to find out about my ancestry, about my heritage. This was really important to me because I was adopted. And then, you know, it's like these people, I think they're very misinformed. And it's just like, really, guys? Really? Do you really think, do you know that human beings, like on my mother's side, my birth mother's side, according to my DNA information, our oldest ancestor came out of the Fertile Crescent thousands of years ago. That's, you know, when you do your DNA testing and you find out where you fall along those lines, I mean, it's your DNA. It's science, okay? You realize we're all connected. There is no us versus them, okay? We're all connected. We're all the human race. Yes, we're diverse. We have different cultures, different belief systems, on and on and on, traditions, different cultural things. Uh, but we're all connected. There's no, the us versus them, like, oh, I'm better because I have Nordic ancestry. The hell is that? What? I mean, I'm sorry, it's the 21st century, and you sound ignorant when you say that, you know? And for people who want to explore their ancestry and learn about um, their connections to Norway and Northern Europe and Scandinavia as a whole, to come across these people who have basically taken some of the symbols, like Thor's hammer, and and they're spouting this racism or whatever. It really makes me angry. I've worked so hard to find these missing pieces, and then I have to contend with, what seems like people who are misinformed and uneducated, and to me, they're ignorant. That means that they don't know. They don't know. It's not like they're stupid. It's just they're ignorant of certain things. Sure, they would say the same thing about me, but I don't care. The fact is, we have science. Our original ancestors came from a place other than Europe or Scandinavia or what have you. Okay? There is no us versus them. It's okay to be interested in your culture and to learn traditions and beliefs and everything from way back. I mean, it's cool, but you should never say, "Oh, like I am better because I am this or that." I'm because I'm a certain skin color or whatever. No, I mean, do you know how ridiculous that is? So, at any rate, and I don't know why I keep saying that. The point is this: I am going to embrace learning about my ancestry. I am not going to allow others to tarnish it for me. I will combat racism whenever possible. If it arises, I will stand up and say something. Because um, you don't get to take over this ancestry and make it into something that it's not. You don't get to take over um, something, symbols and that sort of thing, and make it into your racist agenda. Okay? I'm sorry, but you don't. Um, there are people who will post on the boards on Facebook who will say, "Oh, I'm from Latin America. Do I have any right to, I feel interest in the Norse pantheon, and the old beliefs, the old ways. Do I have any right to do that?" And it's like, what are you talking about? Do you feel pulled in that direction? Is there a truth for you? Are you fascinated in this? Are you drawn to it? If the answer is yes, it's your journey, your path, you do it. Plain and simple. Nobody gets to tell you what your path is. Nobody gets to tell you what you can and cannot do. I was adopted, and I had certain relatives in my adopted family who gave me a bunch of crap about, well, how dare you go and find your information on your birth family? What are you talking about? This is me. It's not you. It's my choice. You have nothing to say about it. Plain and simple. You may not like it, but you know what? Don't care. Okay, so that's basically what I have to say is, if anything, I'm going to use this information that I've gleaned about this ancestry that I had no idea I had so much of, To number one, learn. Number two, to beat back any racism that I run across, because you know you got to stand up and say something about this. It's not okay. All right. We had one horrific Holocaust. Well, we've had many, but talking about Nazi Germany. Okay. Look, never again. Never again. Um, and as I said, there's one race, and it's the human race. And we need to start getting together and working together, because if we don't, we won't have a human race anymore. And we need to look at diversity and different cultures as the treasures that they are, and quit being so xenophobic. Um, that's just, you know, you have to get out of that animal brain and all the stupid messages that you've been fed by whatever source. And you have to get into the 21st century. You have to evolve. It's time to evolve, okay? And that means that you need to educate yourself. And you need to not spout hate. And learn to accept that the world is made up of a whole bunch of people who have different beliefs, different cultures, all of that, and it's a wonderful thing. And that's just, you know, I'm not going to let people who are spouting racist bullcrap ruin things for me. No, you don't get to wear the Thor's hammer and associate that with something negative, something racist. No, it's not yours to. No, that's an insult as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, there you go. And I also went longer than I intended, but I'll try to do better at kind of shortening things. It's just when I get on a roll, I get on a roll. So if you have any racist comments, don't bother making them, because I won't approve them. And this is my queendom and not yours. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Definitely give me a like if you would. If you don't want to give me a like, that's fine. I'm not going to stop doing it anyway. And yeah, as soon as I, find my other pipe, or get some more, then I will definitely share some more pipe stuff with you. Thanks to all who have contacted me or commented. I've run across some other females who are into pipes as well, and so that's very cool. It's 1:58, and for now I will say, oh yeah, I'm going to learn Norwegian. I'm already in the process of learning Japanese, so I already know French, I know some German and some Spanish, so my goals are Norwegian, Japanese, and Italian. So I started on Norwegian the other night, so we'll see how that goes. And I may try some out in the future just to see how I'm doing with that. So if you have any tips on those languages and places to go online, that might be helpful, especially when it comes to learning Japanese writing, which is tricky at best. Let me know. Just put a comment down there, and hope you like my horns and my little birds. It's kind of like a juxtaposition, isn't it? Think about it. And yeah, so that's it for now, and I hope to see you next time. And if you have something that you want to ask, don't be afraid to ask it. Doesn't mean that I'm going to necessarily answer it, but if you're polite and not a troll, I probably would. So till next time, have a great upcoming week and stay warm.